Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. To all my subscribers, I truly appreciate each and every one of you. To visitors, hey, what's up? Hi. Guys, feel free to check out my playlist. I always tell my subscribers, as well as those of you who are new to my channel or just visiting, if you check out my playlist, you hit my playlist tab, you will see a variety of videos that I have there that you may find interesting. It will give you a pretty good idea of what my channel is about and the different areas that I cover, as well as checking out my videos. You will find some stuff there as well too that I upload on a daily basis or every other day or however the Lord leads me. So guys, I want to get right into this video, and it's called God Says That's My Husband. God told me this is my husband. Now how I actually will have it when I upload it, the title might be a little bit different, but that's pretty much the gist of my idea, the gist of the title. So guys, this is an unusual thing that the Lord had me to talk about today. I was not expecting to talk about this, but a lot of times we hear a lot of women that are saying, God told me that this is my husband. Now, it is very possible that God can reveal to a woman who her husband is, but I want to let you know that it's not very common. A lot of times it's becoming more and more common because many women are being deceived by the enemy to believe that this man is my husband. Now, again, there are some stories. Now, I want you to realize this, not just because you got married or you hear the woman said this was my husband and she got married to the man, it does not always mean that it was of God, because sometimes you will find that that woman who claimed this was my husband and they did in fact get married, you'll find secretly she is going through hell in the house with that man, but because of what she proclaimed and all that she was saying and all the wedding plans, she probably saw what this man was before she got married, but to save face, she married him anyway. And again, I want to say this is not for everyone, because there's some women that the Lord revealed to you that someone was your husband, and he is in fact your husband and you're happily married. But I want to let you know, before God showed you anything, that man knew you were his wife. Before God reveals that you are somebody's husband, a lot of times he is going to reveal it to that man. Now, I hear that there are rare occasions where the woman, it was revealed to her. I guess it can happen. So, and the reason why I say that is because I never want to put God in to say this is the only way God can move. God can move in mysterious ways. However, you will find that even if he reveals it to you, that you're not supposed to be the one that's going to pursue him, and you're the one that's, oh, God said I was your wife, because you're going to like totally freak that man out, okay? But this is to a specific demographic of people that the Lord wants me to speak to, where God is saying, be very mindful of when you're hearing that God said this is my husband, okay? And it's very ironic because a lot of times the person that you're looking at is normally the person you want, okay? So I'm going to give you a few things to consider about this. Number one, where are you spiritually when you're getting this revelation? Meaning, are you walking in the obedience of God? Are you doing the things that he's telling you to do? You know, are you living in sin? Are you having sex with this man already? Because a lot of times when that happens, you're going to get your perceptions, you're going to get a lot of what we're going to call interference, okay? God, number one, is not going to tell you that a man that's already in a relationship or already has a wife is your husband, because God is not the author of confusion. Because let's say that later on down the line, he's going to break up with his girlfriend. God would not reveal anything to you before that, because now what would happen is you're sitting there coveting someone else's husband or boyfriend, because now you're waiting on God to give you the promise by breaking up their relationship. God is not going to operate like that. The other thing is, as I said, if you're having sex with that man and you are living in you're having an adulterous relationship with him, or you're in fornication, sexual immorality, sending each other nasty pictures, naked pictures, things like that, and then God speaks to you in the midst of that and said, this is your husband, I think you may want to really reconsider that, because God is not going to endorse sin. God's not going to speak to you in the midst of that. Okay? If he's speaking you to the midst of it, he's going to be telling you, stop, get out, don't do this. He's going to have conviction on you. But it's not, this is your husband. Because then if it's your husband, then the next thing that the enemy is going to make you feel like, well, you're justified in having sex with this person or in sending him these pictures because he is your husband after all. Right? The other thing, guys, I want to talk about is this. If you are disobeying God, well, how can I be disobeying God? A lot of times if you just don't obey God. There are errors in your life. God is here, but then over here you're in darkness and you're doing your own thing. You're living however you want to live. You're doing whatever you want to do. You're not forgiving the people God's telling you to forgive. You're holding out against somebody. You're messy. You're doing different things. You're sexually promiscuous. You're doing all these different things. You don't fast, you don't pray, you pray and maybe you might fast, but if you pray gingerly. It's very easy for you to be walking in disobedience. So what happens in 1 Samuel chapter 16 and 14, the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord tormented him. So I want you to know, people say evil spirit from God. It seems like an oxymoron. Well, by him, by God, all things consist and exist. So evil is even subject to God. The way that evil can be allowed in your life is when you disobey God. And truly, if God really allowed the enemy to unleash in our lives to the degree that they probably should, based on how we were walking back then, we will go crazy. We'll be in a mental asylum. But we actually have the grace and mercy of God. So when you are walking in disobedience, and if you are not obeying God, then sometimes an evil spirit, a lying spirit, can also come upon you. You know, in the Bible, it talks about, it's in the book of 1 Kings or 2 Kings, I believe, where Jehoshaphat and I can't think of this one. I want to say it was Ahab. And so what happens, either Ahab or Ahab's, it was Ahab, I believe. So Ahab wanted to go to battle, and he had 400 prophets who were telling him that he's going to win the battle. And there was one, Micaiah, that he didn't like. Ahab did not like him, that told him the truth and said, no, the Lord has sent a lying spirit into the mouth of these prophets to tell you that you are going to win the battle, but in fact, you are not going to win the battle. So sometimes, my brothers and sisters, when you are not walking, my sisters, because that's what I'm talking to, but brothers, you can listen to, when you're not listening to God and you are disobeying God as Ahab was, then what's going to happen is a lying spirit can enter in and tell you, yes, this is your husband. Because number one, it's what you want. You know, it's what you want. Very rarely is God telling you the guy that you're not attracted to is your husband. A lot of times it's the person you want, the one that you're attracted to. And how ironic that the Spirit of God happens to line up with your personality and your drive and your go-get-him attitude. So now the Lord is telling you to go and pursue him. The Lord is telling you to go and get him. The Lord is telling you that his wife is not for him. His girlfriend is not for him. His fiance is not for him. He's for you. So ladies, I'm going to tell you a few things. I have not yet found a scripture where God told a woman that this man was your husband and you need to go get him. Now, the Spirit of God can reveal some things to you, but I will tell you that God will first reveal to that man that you are his wife. Okay? It shouldn't be you going to pursue him and tell him, I'm your wife, and you give him scripture to back up to prove that you are his wife. Okay? I'm going to tell you, well, who does this? The Bible talks about a strange woman. And ladies, you never want to be that strange woman. The strange woman is in Proverbs. okay, talks about her many times. The strange woman will diligently seek out a man. She diligently seeks out a man. Okay? So if you find that you are just really going after this man, and I'm your wife, and you're pursuing him, and you're emailing him and telling him I'm your wife, and the Spirit of the Lord is telling you to go after him, I need you to reconsider. A strange woman, she entices, okay? She has no regard for her own relationship she may be in or the one the man is in. So if you find that you're going after this man that you believe God told you is your husband, and you're already in a relationship, and he's in a relationship with somebody else, and you're trying to tell him that. Another thing also, a man, his wife or someone may have just died, and there's somebody already in the wings believing that she's now his wife. God does not operate that way. So she doesn't care that she is in a relationship with someone else, whether she has a boyfriend, a fiance, a husband, or whether he has a girlfriend, a wife, a fiance. She's like, God said it, and she's going to go after him. This woman, the strange woman, uses charm and flattery. You will entice with your eyes, and you use visual stimulation to win this man. This type of woman, she takes. You don't want to be that woman. When God has spoken to you, you believe God told you this is your husband, and then all of a sudden you're going after him. You're trying to entice him. You don't have any respect for the relationship. You want to break up with the person you're with to go after this other man. You're using charm, you're using flattery, you're sending pictures, you're cooking for him, you're doing all these different things. You're having sex with him maybe. I want you to understand that it's very possible that you're not being led by the Spirit of God, that you did not hear from God, but in fact you're being deceived by the enemy. Second thing, you're going to look at the character of this man that you're being told he's your husband. God is not going to send you anybody that's broke down, still needing to be worked on, still needing renovation, okay? And I'm not talking about his physical look so much as we're talking about his heart and where he is with God. God is not going to send you somebody. God's not going to send you a do-it-yourself project. God is not going to send you a man who still has integrity issues. He's not going to send you a man who is in between relationships. He's not going to send you a man whose heart is divided between several different women. God is not going to send you a do-it-yourself project. When God sends someone and says he's your husband, this man, God is not going to give you a tool belt, because he's going to need you to still, now you got to do some leg work. Okay, he's not going to give you a tool belt. He's not going to give you a construction hat. You're not going to have to wear steel-toe boots to be in a relationship with this man. When God gives you anything, it is completed. It means that this man will go through the process of pruning, he's going to go through the process of pruning. He's going to go through the process of being obedient to the Father. He's going to be a man of integrity. Whatever it is that's in him that still needs to be worked out, the Lord is going to ensure that those things are already in place. And the most thing is that he's rooted and grounded in him before he gives him to you. There are a lot of women who have already seen the warning signs. God is showing you. He's revealing things to you. Things are coming out of the woodworks. But because you have already told people that this is your husband, and you've already proclaimed it, and you've already done it on your platform, you're going to make it happen no matter what. Well, I'm going to marry him no matter what. And some people, you went and you married him no matter what. And so now you are having hell in the house. You are looking out the window and howling at the moon because you realize you're with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay? So what happens now? I actually have a video called that, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You can check that out. I might add that to this link if I remember. But guys, I'm going to tell you, obey God. And you want to seek him out. When you get a word that someone is your husband, go diligently before the Lord. Fast about it. Pray about it. And watch what God shows you. Watch what God shows you. Don't be surprised if some other woman is calling you up and telling you something. Don't go ham on her and going off on her and, oh, you trying to get my man and you trying to do whatever. These are things that God is showing you. Don't be surprised don't look at just how nice he's being to you. You look at his character in different scenarios, how he is with different people, how he is with his family. And my brothers and sisters, ladies, you need to look really at the things that God reveals to you. Does he speak truth? Are you finding that you're having to, patch and fix little things with him? Is he responsible? If you're walking in disobedience and you're not walking in the things of God, you're going to find that you're going to hear a word that this is my husband that did not come from the Lord. And you're going to find yourself being deceived, being hurt, being broken down, being ashamed. And I dare say there are women that they are so bent on getting a husband that they don't care. Well, even if we divorce, at least I got married to him. But then you make the word of God a lie, right? Because if God says he was your husband, what happened, right? These are the days that you can't even risk that. You're thinking, I'll just marry him anyway. But you don't know if you're going to walk in over the threshold in a wedding dress with him and come out in a body bag, because you may have your plans, but the enemy has a plan too. So again, ladies, I'm going to wrap up this video as it's going a little longer than expected. Seek the Lord when it comes to God said, this is my husband. You cannot use the tactics and the vices of the world. God is not going to give you someone else's man, someone else's husband, someone else will sit and wait for them to break up. That you're just circling, waiting for it to break up, praying for things to break up. This is not of God. Ensure that your heart and you are in obedience with the Lord. Ensure that you're in obedience with the Lord, because if you don't obey God and if you're not obeying him and your heart is not right, then a lying spirit will come upon you and let you feel like this man is for you. Okay? An evil spirit will come and torment you, because then you'll be tormented by that relationship and what you said and trying to save face. All right, guys, don't forget to share, like, all this good stuff, and I'll talk to you on the next vid.